Hello and welcome to Kev's English Podcast, Real English every week with your host Kev Dean.
Hello. Welcome to another edition of Kev's English Podcast. So, Saturday morning, 7:22 a.m. and you might be able to hear carefully in the background the sound of birds tweeting. They're right outside my window. There's a elderberry tree right outside of my window and it's full of my birdie friends. So you might hear them tweeting. In the background, I've got the window open. It's a bright sunny morning. So let's talk about my week. My podcast is probably going to be about my weekly activities, kind of like a weekly roundup, a blog, if you can call it that, as you will. Anyway, so what have I been doing this past week? Let me think. Well, I've been learning something new, which I recommend. In one of my previous episodes, how to become smarter, I think it was called. I was talking about what this article said about things that you need to do every day. You need to exercise, learn something new, read, etc. Well, I've been trying to learn something new. I've been learning about search engine optimization, or SEO, as it's called, to get more views on my channel, YouTube, the English native. So I've been working on YouTube this past week. As I may have mentioned, I don't know if I mentioned this before. So the other week, I have all these electronic items for my work, etc. I had a tablet, a Samsung tablet, and to use a phrasal verb, it packed in. In other words, it stopped working, so I had to get a new tablet. And I had a old phone, just like a analog phone, so I got a smartphone. I haven't had a smartphone for a long time now, so I got a smartphone because I think that for a lot of people, smartphones make for stupid people, especially when they're staring at them all day long, but that's how it is. So I got a new tablet, so I got a Lenovo, got Chinese Lenovo tablet, got a new Chinese phone, a Xiaomi Redmi 14, and I got myself a new computer as well, which I'm recording this on. Another Lenovo, better specification from my previous one. So all the new stuff, the spec or specification has been really excellent. All my stuff is about 5 years old, I think 5 or 6 years old, because I don't like to buy new stuff every year. So it was about five years old, as I say, and the specification is really outstanding. It's just new processor, new CPU. It's a lot faster. It's on Windows 11. The tablet is Android. The capacity, the storage is about 5 times the storage of my previous devices. My new phone is actually about 3 or 4, maybe 3 times the storage of my tablet, my old tablet. It's just a phone. So I've got all this new updated equipment, and that's been working pretty well, I have to say. So I've been selling all my old items off. I'm using a different microphone now. I've got a new a setup from before. I think it works well. All my students on italki who I've had lessons with this past week with my new equipment, they've all said it sounds good. So that's pretty good. So I've got some new equipment now. I've been learning about search engine optimization, SEO as it's called. So I've got about 13,500 subscribers on my channel on YouTube, the English native, but it's pretty static. I'm not getting views. Most of the videos, well, in fact all the videos that I put out are based on my students. So like on whether it's for IELTS for the writing section, OET for the writing section, or general English and grammar. My students essentially are my inspiration. You know, I get a student, this is our Kev, I'm having some trouble with blah, 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 blah. So I say, oh, okay, and I make a video. In fact, I've got 2 videos to upload today. One's for OET and one's for IELTS. Some of my students, some of the writings that they sent me, I've been making a video. What I do now is when people send me their writings on italki, I find it's easier to simply make a video and send them a copy, you know, so they can have a look at it and they can see what I'm talking about and why I made the changes that I did. So that's my new policy. So if you're one of my current students on italki, that's what I'll be doing in the future. Whenever you send me some writing, I'll make a video and send it back to explain things. So speaking of italki, and my week, I've had some new students this week. This Chinese doctor in America. There's a new Uzbeki doctor taking OET. Both of them taking OET. There's who else? This young Chinese guy. He's 9. I don't usually give lessons to kids, but you know, if I have a special request. So he's not too bad. I've got to think about what to do with him. So I've got this new kid, this Uzbeki doctor, this Chinese guy. He's taking his test. Hope he does well. This Israeli guy as well, and who else? I don't know. I can't remember now. But anyway, lots of and a few people on my group in Telegram. I think I'm not sure. I think she's Nigerian. Somebody sent me a letter. Anyway, my students are worldwide, as you can see. So I've been trying to learn about this search engine optimization stuff. So I've made a video introduction for my channel. So every time I make a video now, I've got a introduction with music that goes at the start, and I've been using my video recorder ScreenPal, and that allows me to add background music as well. So I'm trying to make my videos more professional, more appealing, try and get more views and traffic, because they were pretty basic, but they were aimed at the students, you know, so they would send me a letter or some essay, and I just make a bare bones kind of a video, but that's not getting me views and traffic. So I was watching some people on YouTube, and they were saying you need to have a thumbnail to attract people, and I've been trying to work out how to make some of those. So I need some new pictures, some photographs, some portraits of myself. So I need some new pictures, and then how to do this and how to do that, how to do your thumbnail, how to do your introduction, and all the search engine optimization stuff. It's pretty much a full-time job, and I can see why these YouTubers spend a lot of time on it, because it is. If you're going to do it right, it's a full-time job. I don't usually have the time because I've got students, but I can see I'm going to have to make a change to how things work out if I'm going to try and get my channel more views and more subscribers, which is my aim for this current year. So if you're listening on italki, there's a link in my profile. You can go and take a look. If you're listening on YouTube, well, you're already there, so there you go. So I've got my YouTube channel and my podcast, which is where you might be listening to this, or on YouTube. So kevsinglishpodcast.com. If you need a transcript for any episode, you can just go there. So whether you're listening to this on italki or on YouTube or on Kev's English Podcast, there's a transcript available on kevsinglishpodcast.com. So I'm going to try and do a podcast a week. I'm still trying to get guests to come on and have a bit of a chat. So if you're listening, if you would like to be a guest, if you've got some interesting story to tell me about English or anything else really, feel free to contact me, and maybe you can be a guest on my podcast also. So let me see, what else have I been doing this past week? Well, the usual exercise. I've been to the outdoor gym Monday, Wednesday and Friday. Matter of fact, I'm going out in about half an hour to the track to have an hour walking around the track. I'm going to do that this morning. I'm probably going to be out on my bicycle with some of my associates this afternoon. So I've only got one lesson this morning. So I'm going to go out, have an hour, come back, have a lesson, and I'm going to go out on the bike this afternoon. I'm supposed to be playing pool or billiards tonight. I don't know if you've ever played that game. So we're going to a new bar to play pool. That's quite entertaining. Tomorrow I might be hiking. I think I've got one lesson Sunday morning, and then I'll be out hiking in the afternoon to go and see some creatures. It's usually deer we see in the forest. So what else have I been doing? So working on my channel, doing the usual exercise stuff, usual household stuff, cooking, cleaning, etc. If I don't do it, nobody else will. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Like I said, in a typical day, I usually I'm up about 6:30, usually have an hour of reading, go to the gym, then I've come back, get something to eat, and I've got lessons. Actually, I'm thinking of changing my schedule on italki to have some evening classes now. I don't usually do them, but I think I might. So I've got different times for different time zones, because I have students in America, in the east, in the west, so they're behind me 6 or 7 hours. I've got some in Southeast Asia, Japan, China, Korea, so they're 6 or 7 hours ahead. And then I've got the ones round about me in Europe or not so far, so about an hour or two ahead. So I might have some in the evening for my European students, because a lot of them, that kind of work, so when they come home 6 or 7 or 8, they can have a class. So I think I'm going to do that now, because that's what I used to do when I was working in other countries. I didn't have much in the day, but I'd have classes every night after people finished work, and then usually all day Saturday and Sunday. So maybe that's what I'll do now in my schedule. I'm thinking about it. Thinking. I'm always trying to, get something new on, some new trend, etc. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I've been watching some films, as always. Maybe I'll do another film review this weekend, because I watch films every night. I've seen some new films. I'm thinking I'm maybe going to the cinema to see Mission Impossible: Final Reckoning. I'm thinking about that. It's got some very mixed reviews, but it might still be worth going to see. So I might go and see that at the cinema. I don't usually go. I usually watch them at home. But this particular one, it's been said that you should really go and see it on the big screen because of the stunts and the special effects. And maybe I'll go and see that maybe sometime this coming week. But I usually watch films every night anyway, so I've got a lot of films to review and talk about. In terms of reading, I'm still reading this Daniel Aiken's Theology of the Church. It's about 1,600 pages. I'm nearly halfway, but it's a lengthy book and it's quite complex. So that's going to take me another week or probably a couple of weeks to finish that one. Anyway, maybe I'll talk about some of my reading another day. So I'm going to go out now. I'm going to go get my bike out, have a cycle over to the lake, and there's a track that runs around the lake. It's 1 kilometre. So I usually do about, takes me about 10 or 15 minutes to cycle, have an hour walking on the track, cycle back. So anyway, a bit of morning exercise, that should sort me out, and then get back here. My lessons, I've got about 3 hours before my first lesson, so that's what I'll do. Anyway, that's been my week so far. So I'll see you later, and if you want to contact me, feel free to do so. All the links are below wherever you're listening, so I'll see you later. Bye for now.